After watching Jin-woo effortlessly solo a B-rank Redgate dungeon, then meeting Norma Selner, the enigmatic enhancer who privately confirms to her team that his potential is truly limitless. What comes next? Welcome to VoxAnime Chronicles, your premier hub for breaking anime news and deep dives into the worlds of manga and manhwa. If you haven't already, like and subscribe now to stay ahead of every twist. Now, let's jump into today's episode. Chapter 112 opens with Jin-ho hunched over his desk, eyes locked on a glowing screen filled with comments and headlines. He's in full defense mode, responding to every rumor, every insult, every accusation thrown at Jin-woo and their fledgling guild. The backlash from the Jeju Island incident is still raging, with critics insisting that if Jin-woo had left with the others, lives might have been spared. But Jin-ho refuses to let those words stick. He's wielding his family's wealth like a sword, cutting through slander with threats of lawsuits and legal firepower. Every troll he silences feels like one more shield raised around his friend. After finally shutting down a particularly nasty comment thread, he leans back with a long sigh. Then, without a sound, Jin-woo appears behind him, quiet as death, acknowledging Jin-ho's hard work. Jin-ho jumps, startled at the sudden presence. He thinks about how Jin-woo comes and goes like a ghost without a sound. He moves with the silent precision of an assassin, despite being classified as a mage. Did anything happen? He asks. Jin-ho waves it off. No, nothing. But as he looks closer, his brow furrows. Jin-woo's face is streaked with ash, and there's a smear of dried blood trailing across his cheek. Blood that clearly isn't his. Why do you look like that? Jin-ho asks. I've just gotten out of the gate, Jin-woo replies, calmly setting down a heavy backpack as he reminded Jin-ho about needing funds to establish the guild. He unzips it, a shimmering pile of greater magic cores. Greater magic cores weren't just rare. They were powerful, refined remnants of high-level magical beasts. Greater cores were in another league entirely, and sold for sums large enough to fund entire guild operations. Jin-ho's eyes widen. These are greater magic cores. With this, we won't have to worry about employee salaries for a while. Jin-woo seemed to forget that they needed to recruit another member. Jin-ho smiles and asks, "Don't you remember? We still need one more founding member." Jin-woo, accepting the fact, at least wants someone diligent, even if it's just for a quota. Since they will be in constant interaction, he might as well get someone who could be trusted. Jin-ho then tells Jin-woo about one more urgent matter to take care of, the guild name. Jin-woo doesn't think the name of the guild is important, but Jin-ho insists that it is. He suggests names that are spin-offs of their own names like Sungyu Guild or Yu-sung Guild. Even Wooho Guild is suggested, but Jin-woo asked, how about Solo Play Guild? Shocked at the absurdity of the name, Jin-ho couldn't even get a word out as his face lost color. Before he could say anything, Jin-woo added, our guild is based on hunting solo anyways. Jin-ho, still not sure if it was a joke or not, thinks that Jin-woo finally has something he is bad at, something that made him seem more human. Before he could disagree, someone knocks on the door. The room fell silent as Jin-ho asks who it is. The voice from outside the door asks if this is the guild office of Jin-woo. Jin-ho, opening the door, starts to ask who they are, but before he could finish, shock runs through him as he locked eyes with the person outside. It was Cha Hae-In, the S-rank hunter, and the one who Jin-woo saved from the Jeju Island incident. Jin-woo, curious, asks why she is here. Cha Hae-In, stumbling over her words, says she wants to join the guild. Jin-woo, inviting her to sit with him in the lobby while offering a drink, asks for clarification. Cha Hae-In, sipping her drink, repeats that she wants to join the guild. Jin-woo is completely taken aback, not sure what is actually happening. He asks if Hunters Association chairman asked her to join or if Choi Jong-in kicked her out of the Hunters Guild. Cha Hae-In, not sure why this would be the case, says no. Jin-woo, still confused, asks why she wants to join their solo play guild. Shocked at the name, Cha Hae-In asks if that is really the name of the guild. Jin-ho, not letting the opportunity pass to reject the terrible guild name. Jumps in and asks if the name has already been decided since none of them have agreed to it yet. Something catches Jin-woo's attention. It's the way Cha Hae-In's heartbeat, the way she is breathing, and her expressions. She's nervous, but trying to hide it. This further confuses Jin-woo, as he wonders why she is doing all this to join their guild. Realizing something, Jin-woo asks if she is still under contract with the Hunters Guild, since it has been less than 2 years since her awakening. Cha Hae-In replies that she is, but she is willing to pay the penalty fee to leave. Jin-woo, cautious about the fact that Cha Hae-In is willing to leave her current guild, lets her know that they don't have the funds to pay properly since she is a top-tier S-rank hunter. But Cha Hae-In says she doesn't care about that, nor does she need the signing bonus. She just wants to simply join the guild. Jin-woo asks why she's willing to go to such lengths to join their guild, knowing there's nothing she can gain from it. Cha Hae-In reflects on whether she could even explain it, fearing she will be called crazy. As someone who hated the sin of hunters, she was drawn to his, the one hunter who didn't smell to her. At first, it was curiosity, as she remembers seeing Jin-woo in the High Orc dungeon displaying top-tier combat skills. Moreover, he was using summoning magic at a level that was unheard of. Her curiosity grew as she remembers seeing Jin-woo on the news after being declared the newest S-rank hunter. She actually suspected that he was an S-rank hunter since initially meeting him and then seeing him in the High Orc dungeon. Cha Hae-In knew, from the moment she saw him in the gym before the raid, that he was different, the only light in this dark world. Her mind replays the moments right before the Ant King ruthlessly one-shot her. She was terrified, nervous, and even thinking about how it was her last moment, until she opened her eyes. The chairman of the Hunters Association was kneeling beside her, asking if she was okay. She was confused, but he then explained that they were in a helicopter that had just landed at the Hunters Association, about to transfer her to the hospital. Thinking about what happened and how she got there, she asked if Jin-woo had been on Jeju Island. The chairman affirmed that he was and nodded his head up and down. Cha Hae-In blushed at the fact that it wasn't a dream, that Jin-woo was actually there. Overwhelmed with emotion and memories, she debated how to answer Jin-woo's question. She wasn't sure how to tell him that she wanted him by her side until the end, so she covered her face with her hands in embarrassment. Jin-woo, not understanding her reaction, wonders why she isn't answering, why she's blushing and acting like she's hiding something. He then asks if she won't answer him. Cha Hae-In, bailing out the last moment, says she just wants to live comfortably, and that it should be normal for a hunter to want to live comfortably. Knowing the burden placed on an S-rank hunter, Jin-woo thinks about how she's young, but was also in rough shape after the Jeju Island raid. He starts to feel empathy for her, but firmly says that there is an entrance test to join the guild. Reasonably shocked, Cha Hae-In explains that it wasn't in the recruitment notice. Saving face, Jin-woo blames the vice guild master, Jin-ho, for not including it. Jin-woo tells Jin-ho to prepare snacks and more drinks for them. Cha Hae-In, determined to do whatever it takes to join the guild, asks what kind of test it is. Jin-woo replies that it's a test to defeat a summoned shadow of his choosing. Cha Hae-In asks which summon she'll face, her voice calm, but resolute. With a light smile, Jin-woo replies that for her, it'll be his strongest summon. Hunter Cha Hae-In meets his gaze and accepts his conditions. From ensuing comment wars and silent entrances to unexpected confessions and entrance tests, Chapter 112 laid the groundwork for something far more than a guild. If you're following along on VoxAnime, hit like and subscribe so you don't miss the next chapter. Because after this, things only escalate.